Hey, so here we go. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to write a test case. And so this is my method, okay, create blob, okay. So now this is a unit test, okay, and I'm using JUnit 5. Now the thing about a test case is that, it only has to do with that particular chunk of code, right? So if you're writing a test case for a method, everything else doesn't matter. What that method is calling, which other class is it calling, all those things have to be mocked, okay? And what needs to be taken care of is that, the method's behavior should be the thing which matters most, right? So if let's say if it is returning a particular type, okay, and if it is taking input as an argument of a particular type, okay, and if it is returning certain kinds of values on certain inputs, then that should not change, or you can say that is what's important, okay? So for example, if you look at this method, right, create blob, so it's taking input argument of block DTO and it's returning response, right? And when it is returning the response, it's putting something in message and it's giving us a response code and it's returning a response message, right? And if you look at here, it's also throwing an exception, okay? And so if we begin from start, right, so there is if condition, then inside if condition there's another condition, if condition, right? And besides from these ifs, there is one return statement outside and there's one return statement inside, okay? Now what we want to do is we need to start writing our test cases and we need to look at conditions, okay? So a test case starts like this, right? First of all, you have to think about things, okay, what all conditions could be there, right? So for example, there is this if block. Now what all conditions can this if block provide, right? So first is that, okay, everything inside this if block is true, okay? So one condition is that. What's the other condition? Everything inside this if block is false. It results in false, so we won't go inside this if block, we'll come out of it, right? So these are two conditions already. Next, I went inside this if block and I saw, okay, there's another if block, right? So what's the condition here? There's if block, so one is when it is true inside of this if block, the other is when it is false inside this if block, right? So what I'm trying to say is these conditions, you have to check these, okay? The main motive of writing these test cases is that tomorrow, let's say if or let's say 2 years down the line, I come back to this code, okay? And or let's say there is someone else whom I given this code to enhance, okay? He comes here and he just makes a change somewhere here, right? Okay, he makes a change and let's say he stops sending this successful response code, okay? And he's not aware of what the front end takes, right? He's not aware of all those things. He just went here and he said, okay, I don't like this, I'll remove it, or he mistakenly removes it and he pushes to prod, okay? What's gonna happen if you do this? Okay, you just make a few code changes and you push these things directly to prod, everything's gonna break, right? This is where unit test cases help, okay? That if, okay, he even made this change, and if I had written a test case to to make sure that this stays in place, and before pushing to prod, that person is going to run a verification task, okay? What verification task does is it runs all the test cases, and once it ran this test case and it saw, okay, this test case is failing, it won't allow him to push it, right? So That's the thing with test cases. This is why we need to write it. So I'll just give one example. Okay, so first let's start with this condition, success condition, that okay, everything is working fine. Okay, so let's see how do we do it. So this is the service for which I'm writing test case, and this is my block service test. Okay, let's do it. Right, so I'll show you this class as well. So I wrote a bunch of test cases already for this service, but yeah. So how it works, okay? First of all, you have your SUT, okay? SUT is your class which you are testing, right? It stands for subject under test, okay? Then you have your box, okay? As I said, what you care about is only the particular method that which you want to test, nothing else. So I'll go, when I'm writing a test case, I'll see which all other services this particular method is calling, which other classes is this particular method calling. Okay, so I went here and I see, oh, it's calling block mapper. Okay, this should be a auto wired. Yes, it is auto wired here, right? Next, okay, let's see the other one. Oh, it's calling user authentication service. This is also auto wired, right? Yeah. Then I went ahead and I can see author service 1, 2, 3, blog repository 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's calling 4 services, right? Because this user authentication service is already there. But yeah, let's see how do we proceed now. Okay, so the first condition which you are writing, first you will have to see, like, okay, what is it doing? Right, let's say I opened, sorry, let me show you guys here. No, if I don't have any tools, okay, let me create one. Yeah, it's here. Okay, so to clear all this, okay, so we have our create blog method, right? First is the smooth case, right? Everything runs fine. Okay, so what are the things are going to run fine, right? So let me open this, let me move this here. Okay, so user authentication is admin. This should, if clause, this returns true, right? What's next? Okay, this is, let's say, this returns false. Right? Next, our blog entity, we have our author. Okay, so this, where is this being used? This is being used here, right? So if you want to check for it, you can place it. Otherwise, if you are not going to check, then it's fine, right? So, but we are going to check for every scenario. Okay, so let's say this does return something. This services method returns something, and similarly, prior to this method also returns something. Okay, so we got this, we came up to here, then there is blog repository. Okay, so we went here and we say, okay, this also returns something, right? and then we have our response. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Let's thinking about our conditions. Okay, so if I have a user, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all mock these. Okay, so in order to mock these, what can we do, right? So okay, so there are certain things when you want to write a test case, right? So let me put this here again, or maybe can I move it here? Let's, yeah, okay. So let's say if I start writing this test case, right? Oblique void create blog happy scenario. Okay, that I am getting my blog. Sorry, I'm creating my blog and everything goes fine. The blog gets saved to the database. Okay, this is a happy scenario. So we could. So first, what do we need to check? We need to check for this condition, right? So there are certain things, certain concepts which come with unit testing. It's given, when, and then. Okay, so here I have my given, when, and then. Okay, so with given, it's just like, you know, whatever input you have provided. Okay, so what is the input? It could be anything, right? Whatever the input I'm pushing or to my this particular method which I'm testing. Okay, so let's say blog video, right? So I need, first of all, I need a blog video. Okay, for now this is, let's say, empty. I'll keep on adding stuff in it as I start checking it. Okay, as I start testing it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now comes when, right? This is where you set up all your mocks. Okay, so first of all, first mock user authentication services dot is admin. Okay, so I'll write when user authentication service dot is admin dot then return. It's returning something, right? I want everything as true. Okay, everything runs fine. I have this scenario, it is going to return true, right? I'll put right true here. Okay, next when, next what's gonna happen? Okay, I see blog mapper map DTO to entity. Okay, so I need a blog entity, right? So when blog mapper dot map DTO to entity, right? And now this is just a mock, so I'll write any whatever comes inside this method which is of type blog DTO dot class. Okay, then return a blog entity, right? For now I have not put anything here, but you'll see. Okay, as I keep adding things. Now we have blog blog content dot length is less than 50, right? So we need to make sure that the blog content has length greater than 50 here. Okay, so that it does not throw an exception. So let's say so where is blog content? It's here, right? So this has more than 50 words. Now okay, for now I'm not putting anything in here, right? Then again, what's next? author service dot fetch author ID by username, right? We need a username here. When author service, okay, so now if you see, I have not called author service, I have not mocked it here, so I'll go up, okay, I'll mock author service. Okay, cool. I'm back. I put this in my method. Dot fetch author ID by username, any string. Okay. Dot then return. Right. What is it returning? It's returning anything of an author entity of type author. Okay, so I'll just write author entity. I'm sorry, I said author. It's returning an object of type author and author entity. Okay. So now what's next? Its author service is done. Now it's blog repository dot save blog entity. Okay. Blog repository dot save blog entity. So this is going to return as the blog entity itself, right? So when blog repository dot save any what's it blog entity, then return blog entity. Right, this so far so good. Okay, now next it's gonna return us. Okay, so yeah, this we don't have to put this, it will be done by the method itself. Okay, so yeah, so now let's see. Okay, let me now run this test case. Does it pass? Let's see this. Okay, wait, but yeah, but then after this, sorry, before running it, we also need to assert things that, okay, if our conditions and everything are fine, right? So what we are going to do now is then means, okay, once this method is run, once everything is ran fast, we are going to see, okay, what the value this method has provided us, okay, and what we were expecting. Okay, if those two things are fine, if those two things are equal, then we are going to say this test case has passed. Okay, but if they are not, then this test case will fail. So again, the reason behind that is, let's say tomorrow someone else comes, he changes certain things, and now the method has started behaving differently. It is returning something that it was not supposed to. Okay, that should not happen, and this test case will fail, and it won't let someone else to push in prod, right? So let's say then, now what are our conditions for then, right? So first of all, we need to see what this method is returning. We need to take that, right? So it's returning a response. I'll write here a response equals to now here we need to use our actual class, our actual SUT, right? And this particular method, create block, right? This is going to take our what given. Okay, now this is a blog DTO, this which we wrote, right? So this is our blog DTO. Okay, and it also throws an exception, so I will write just exception. I will add exception to this method signature here. Okay, next. Now we got our response. What else? Now we need to check. Okay, now response assert, let's say equals, right? So what are we expecting? So in a happy scenario, what should it do, right? In a happy scenario, it should return me, okay, success response code, right, which is 200. Okay, so I'll say this is my expected thing. Okay, I want 200. Okay, so response dot response code is 200, right? Next, what else do we need? We need a response message that this is uploaded successfully, right? So assert equals, okay, what's expected, response dot get response message, and here we are going to write or message. Okay, so I mean, I recommend that, one thing you can do is you can just copy this and paste it here. But if you really want to like make sure that okay, even this message does not change, then just go ahead and copy this and then paste it here, right? So this will make sure that even if someone changes this method, they'll have failed test cases. Okay, what else? Now this is message which asks for a string with the ID of the blob, right? So let me insert equals. Okay, now this is something like this is a string and this is response dot get what's that message, right? Cool. Now let me run this test case. Okay, let me run this test case and let me move this somewhere else. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go. See, now this test case has failed. Let's see why it has failed. Okay, it says null pointer exception on your blog service.java. Okay, so let's go from tail end. It failed in this method, and then we go here. Okay, it here. So let me do one thing. Let me put a breakpoint here. Okay. And now we are going to debug this. Okay, instead of just running this test case, we're going to debug this. Right, came here, F8, 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 or F9. Right, it failed here last time, right? So let's see what is our save log entity. Okay, get ID, it's null, and when it's doing a toString for null, it is failing, right? So let's check that as well. So I'll select the whole thing. Okay, and then I am going to evaluate this expression. Null pointer exception. See, cannot unbox null value, right? So here the thing is, this should have an ID, right? Saved blog. And what is saved blog? It's coming from blog entity, and which is being passed to us via save method, right? So what we have done here, so this save method, it's simply returning blog entity or builder.build. So I'll change that and I'll return .id. Oh, sorry. Right, I'll just write any value. Okay, and now this should pass at least. Okay, let me run this again. Okay, why it failed again? Let's see why. What is it? Sir, okay, yeah, see, response.getMessage, right? This one is failing now. It's because it's not returning empty string. Okay, what could it be returning? Now let's see. Now method blog upload success message, right? So I'll just go here. Wait. Oh, sorry, this is message. And there are two things. That response message and get message. Response codes is fine. Success response code, and this is the message. This is the message. Okay, yeah. So what's my ID? so I am expecting it should return 1L because this is what I have put here, right? I don't want that tomorrow someone else comes and whatever this method is returning, it should be overridden by something else, right? So I want whatever I put here, okay, the same thing I want to test, okay? This should be in the message, okay? So let's save it and let's run it again. Oh wait, failed again. Really? It has failed again here. Okay, let me put a debugger here. What am I doing wrong? Let's see. Let's debug on our own without a debugger. Okay, so it says here assertion failed, expected 1, actual 1. Oh, I think this should be of type string, right? Right. Okay, so let's see if this should work. See, it passed. The happiness you get when your test cases pass, right? So this was one such scenario, right? So this was happy scenario. The next scenario, you'll write a test case again. So let me copy the entire thing. Okay. Now let's say the second condition, right? What's the second condition? Let's say for me, the second condition is when the user is admin, this is fine. But the content length is less than 50, right? So I'll just write it here. Is admin content less than 50 fail, right? So here, this I'll just shorten this. Oh, I'll remove everything. Fine. Now what's it gonna do, right? It's gonna come here. So we do need this log mapper. We do need this. Rest everything we can skip. Okay. So let's skip this. You don't care. Now this is the one, and if it throws exception, we should just get the exception, right? We are going to run it. Okay, now for exception, you need to see, okay, what kind of exception is thrown, right? So here what I've done is I've just thrown an exception, right? So it's a little different in case of exception, right? So you don't do it like this. So let's see, I had it in one method which does throw exception. I've forgotten how it works. So wait. So we were done up till here. Let me paste. Oh, sorry. What? Email all this. Okay, let me. So what kind of exception am I expecting, right? So I am expecting an exception, right? So of 1. And this is what? Okay, cool. So and here my code should go, right? So where's my code? It's sut.create blog, and with my blog DTO, right? Once this runs, that should throw an exception. Okay, and let me remove all this. Okay, Now, what will be the message of this exception? It is blob is too short. You copy this. Alright. Ideally, this should return fine. It should throw an exception, and this should be caught, right? So, my code, it should go in this block, right? So let me debug this, and let's see if the process comes here. Okay. See, it came here, right? So now says this and this is equal. It should work. Wait, it failed. What happened? Oh, sorry, I am using this here as well. Okay, so this needs to be removed. Oh, man, let's see. We run next from here. See, it passed. So an exception is thrown and we got the same exception and everything is fine, right? So in case if, let's say, someone came and he changed exception type, okay, like say here, he thought I should throw maybe a runtime exception. I'm not sure even that, if because this is a child class of this and I'm expecting this exception, it could work, but let's see if this works or not. A new learning for me as well. Oh, it passed. Okay, so you can throw a child exception. Okay, but let's say if I was expecting let's say if I threw runtime exception, but if I was expecting, if I let's say expect a runtime exception here, sorry, right, that I say that okay, I want a runtime exception, but let's say here I threw exception. Let's see, this is going to fail now, right? Because runtime exception is a child class of exception, and if it throws it, the child cannot catch a parent ever. So let's see. See, it failed. Right, so that's the thing. Like you can make sure that okay, these are certain kind of exception that I want in my code. So yeah. Let me edit this again. Great. So this is about everything about JUnit exception. There are a lot more concepts like stubs and a lot more, but you get the gist, right? That an exception is basically to make a test is basically to make sure your code is fail proof. In future, if anyone modifies it, it should not be like, anything could be pushed to prod without anyone noticing, right? If anyone does want to make change, they'll come to this test case and they'll see, okay, this is something which was the writer had expected of this method, and it should run this way, right? So yeah, thanks.